Come on, come on, come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Come on, come on, come on. How you want it, cognac or Patron? Brunch with the boys, we gon' give you what you want. And what you don't know, we about to put you on. Yes, we are the trending topic. We relationship prophets. Brunch with the boys, we the hottest. Brunch with the boys, we the hottest.
Hey, what's going on? It is your boy King motherfucking Dez. We here tonight. What's going on, gentlemen?
Jezzy, what's good, everybody? It's Mr. Gent out here.
Another episode of Brunch with the motherfucking boys. Where y'all at, man? We appreciate y'all, man. What's going on, COVID time? What's going on, fellas?
For real, what's good, man?
What's chilling, man? We chilling.
Got
everything good?
In here. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, we surviving, man. Mask on, mask off, nigga. That's how I'm doing.
Is that a future quote?
I believe so. I'm not quite sure.
What we talking about tonight, fellas?
You know, we want to get into a couple things that I believe play off of each other well. But entanglements. This whole Will and Jada story, you know, that's going on right now. So I think it's only right that we speak to it like we always do. So let's get right into it. And I think, Gent, you probably know more of the story than I do, but basically what I thought was an open relationship with Jada and Will apparently wasn't, and they were helping August Alsina. Is that that nigga?
That's his name.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember that nigga had one song. I don't believe
he did not have
he had
one
way
song.
more than one song. He's a good singer, man.
I didn't say he wasn't. I remember one or two hits then at the most, but I could be wrong. But I guess they were helping him through some tough times that he was having with his health. And at some point, their relationship, his and Jada's, became sexual. And on the red table, this all came out that it wasn't known. So I kind of want to ask you guys what your thoughts on that. You know, it seemed to me that they were going to get a divorce or a breakup, and they were taking a break. Do you see the benefits of taking a break? Because they're coming back together. They're back together, if I'm clear.
I mean, sometimes distance does help a relationship. So I do see some of the benefit, because sometimes you need to miss someone and put things into perspective and take some time to understand who you are and heal and so forth. I think my biggest situation or my biggest issue with this is you bring this individual into your home and it's under a different pretense of trying to get this homeboy back to health. And then all of a sudden during this break, you basically fucked the maid. That's what Jada did. You know, you got people in the house, man, and you fucked your pool boy. That's how it feels like to me. So for Will, it feels like an ultimate betrayal, because number one, this is real close to home. He brought this man into your home, and there's nothing more disrespectful than that. Secondly, I think the other biggest aspect of it is I don't think he truly knew that this relationship even existed until recently. So I think Jada was keeping it on the hush. And when a nigga get blindsided and get slapped in the face like that, man, that shit hurt, man. Red face.
I got a different perspective on it, man. I think that I think a couple things. I think so. For those who don't know, I believe that August had some issues with Percocets. I think Jada talked about this with drug use, and she helped him recognize that. And so, you know, he kind of broke down to her and said, "Hey, I need some help trying to dealing with this." And I think they put him in a space with people who give a fuck about his well-being. I do believe what August said when he said he had a conversation with Will about what was going on. I don't know that it was anything underhanded. I think that Will and Jada were in a very interesting place prior to August Alsina being there. And I think that they had an understanding. And I don't think August is lying when he says that. I don't think he has any reason to lie when he says he had a conversation with Will and Will gave him his blessing. So,
man,
you know,
I think a nigga has a reason to lie, nigga. Hurt people. Yeah. This is the Dez quote, first and foremost.
He could be saving face.
And I think
he's saving face by coming out first?
See, I think he's coming out because he wants some type of, you know, celebrity, you know,
I think it's sympathy as well. He wants
because how else would they have known?
Yeah.
Well, so we talking about two different points here. So a couple of things. I don't think Jada and Will get the benefit of the doubt of telling the truth because they Jada and Will. I don't know Jada and Will like I don't know August. I don't know who to lie. Just because you rich and you got money don't mean you tell the truth. Mm-hmm. So I don't know Will or Jada. Yeah. I thought when I saw what August said, I thought he got asked really interesting, really direct questions by Angela. He didn't He didn't stutter. He didn't have to search his memory. He had very rapid response for something that he apparently made up. And that doesn't mean it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting that Will and Jada took a week to respond, right? Get your stories together. Let's get on the same page. That's like a fucking strategy plan to me.
Yeah.
So I think, and like I said before August came out, niggas already knew that Jada and Will had some type of open or weird relationship. If you read a quote she says, and if I'm telling you can find this because I've read it myself, the quote from Jada. She says they have a life partnership. Well, that's an interesting comment because that's what August said. August said that Jada told him that her and Will have a life partnership and he will always be in her life so that he can expect that. So he's saying something that mimics what Jada said herself.
And so on Dez's tip, I believe that Jada said that, but come on, y'all, like for real. A chick will say whatever she wants to, no different than a dude who is trying to get something out of somebody will say anything. They'll spin any web, they'll kick that game better than a pimp out of the Players Club movie, nigga.
But who are you attributing that to, August?
No, I'm contributing that to Jada. I think Jada manipulated the situation. And I'm going to only say this only because Jada even speaks to her having a codependency syndrome and this desire to help everybody under the sun. And I think she also said she wanted to feel something. And everybody if you're in a dead ass marriage, nigga, you 6 feet up in the marriage, right? You want to feel something. You want to feel alive. You want that. You want that.
Feel anything.
Yeah, you want that energy. And what happened from that is she, just like Bill Clinton, when he needed some energy, he looked outside his door 2 times to the left, 2 times to the right.
That's what happened.
And found Monica to give him some head. To me, it felt very similar in regards to he was close. They had a good relationship. She needed something from him, which was to feel alive. And she told whatever she had to tell him to get what she wanted out of the deal.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that Will live in a house with Jada. If you got a man in your house and you don't know he's fucking your wife, I guess. I mean, I don't have any sympathy for Will in that situation because guess what's not happening in my fucking household? I'm not helping some young nigga on a road to fucking recovery in my house with my fucking family, with my wife and my kids. Are you fucking kidding me?
And have all them tattoos.
Fuck out of here.
I honestly think if I don't know, you're right.
That's not the proper situation to help somebody. You can help them in a number of ways. You can help him get to a facility. You can call him every day. You can put him in touch with your people. He ain't got to live in your fucking house with your family.
I'm not going to bring a nigga
brought temptation.
I'm not going to bring a nigga that can sing and coon a nigga, and then after that, then got tattoos on him and fit and got abs, nigga, and shit like that.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. I wouldn't be worried about the way the nigga look. I'm just not having I'm not bringing no fat nigga in. I'm not bringing no in-shape nigga in. I'm not bringing nobody in my house. The other thing I wanted to mention is, it's interesting because we talk about Jada in August a lot, and that's what it's about, right? But let's stop acting like Will's life is like that nigga you seen on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, though. Will Smith is not a fucking saint. Nah. He ain't no nun. Nah. He is not without sin. So, keep the same energy when 3 years from now, 3 bitches come out talking about how Will was all fucking them in 2018.
Well, and I definitely agree with that, but at the same time, shit, it's about time these hoes fucked up because we keep acting like they never do. So realistically, I think she did because from what it seems is, and that's where it comes up. Maybe you're right. I saw an interview where she expressed that they were broken up. So in that way, did she lie? But if she was in fact still with Will, I mean, who knows what it is? So I don't want to get into that shit really because at the end of the day, do what you do. Every marriage is its own. I just think it's interesting. I like her perspective in a way with that whole life partnership to where, you're not necessarily saying an open marriage, but you and I always talk about, are people meant to be monogamous? Mm-hmm. Is it less about who you're sleeping with and more about who you're experiencing and going through life? So everything important and relevant is happening with this person, but every once in a while you dip your dick into something and she want to, have her shit dipped into. Please.
That hurts me when you say that.
I know it hurts to say, but why should she not get it if you can't?
We had a guest, not to get on tangent, which we do often, but we had a guest. I think her name was Abby. And she said niggas always want to act like they the only and they the first.
It's true though.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You dating this chick and you ain't talked to her in 3 weeks but everything going good. She said, you think she ain't sucked another nigga dick in the last 3 weeks? Ain't nobody beat the pussy up in the last 3 weeks?
Really tough.
Still hurt.
You know what I'm saying?
It still hurts when you say that.
Don't 2020, ladies and fellas, come on.
And you know what? I also want to take it to a different word. I think we sometimes believe we want or need something that we end up getting and realize we don't. Mm-hmm. And to me, with this whole breakup, but now we're together and we're working because you maybe saw some shit out there and was like, it really isn't bad. And I had a homeboy, you know, I'm obviously not going to say his name, but he actually told his wife, hey, listen, I still have a lot of lust. I still look at these women and I want them. And I know we have 2 kids.
Told her this.
And he's like, and I think she was wanting to have another kid and he ended up having one, you know, long story short. But he told her that he needed this and he wanted this and that he wanted to end the marriage because of it. And she was like, no, please, why don't you go out there, do what you do. Whenever you want to do it, you say you're going to do this, and I know, and I'll leave you be. Just
she was
don't
giving
come
him a
home.
hall pass.
I want you to go see if this is what you want. And he did. And he was out there, and he had a hoe, and he was hitting her, and hey, such and such going fishing. And that was the key word, and he knew he could go, and everything was smooth. And he said after a few months of it, he found that he didn't really want it, and that what he really wanted was her, and that everything he thought that was out there, and you know, he was getting pussy. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you know, niggas, that's what we're thinking. And he found that he didn't want it. So I think it's beautiful how sometimes shit can come together.
Maturity, yeah.
Even when it's wrong, and it seems wrong, I should say. So I don't want to judge Will and Jada at all, because if this is the shit that leads to their everlasting love, fuck what we think.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So,
There's a lot of big love out there, and everybody ain't built for it.
yeah.
That take
true.
a lot of
I miss
emotional
that shit.
intelligence right there, boy, I tell you.
Yeah, but what's up with the code, though? You know, you don't think August was wrong for coming forward first?
So you know, it's interesting. That's why I said the last question, that there's 2 different questions. Oh yeah, definitely broke the man code, G code, like, you know, initiated the whole code. Like, it's seriously, man. Like when I heard this thing come out, and I'm thinking, like, why did he come out? Because I'm thinking maybe she said something or insinuated something or made him look crazy. He said I was losing money and opportunities and people's looking at me crazy and shit. Like, nah, nigga.
What
That's
does that mean? Somebody offered him money?
Yeah, like, well, I guess you're talking about gigs and things like that. Because, dog, wait, Jada and Will are very, I mean, they ain't J and B, but they second.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
They're very influential.
And so when it comes to Hollywood, not just Black Hollywood, but Hollywood in general, Jada and Will are powerful people. And then, you know, I think if he was ever to run a ride them, I think he thinks they may have some ability to impact his career, or at least the perception by others that he's been some negative influence in their life would maybe, you know, have opportunities not come to him. But that's still some whole shit.
Of that,
nah,
still.
that's some whole shit. And I don't see Will and Jada, you know, being that shit. I can't see them stopping this man money. I don't see that. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's interesting, Gent, that it seems the old way was Hose was happy to have that quiet role, you know, and it was low key and, you know, everyone was good. But now women are happy with that small role, but they have bigger expectations as to what they receive. Because to me, I think August did it for money. I don't think it was a loss of books, because why would they even need to do that? Unless Will got mad and some shit and maybe he was doing funny shit. These are so many possibilities that we don't know. But to me, you know, for the most part, I just wouldn't go that route.
To be honest with you, I feel like, first off, August has been sick for years, right? So he's just kind of making his comeback. What's better for a comeback than scandal?
Yeah.
I mean, some of these things are planned. The Illuminati do shit like this all the time for the purpose of inflating record sales or inflating a particular outcome. And so there's a baseline feeling like August was trying to ride that wave. That's me right there on that. But from a code standpoint, D, that's some young nigga shit right there, what he did. Like, that's some shit I did when I found out I was getting cheated on by my girl. Like, so I was young. And checking her phone records or whatever the case may be, young nigga shit again.
Yeah.
And then
Classic young nigga
yeah,
shit.
classic young nigga shit. Found the repetitive phone number and created the algorithm to understand who this nigga was, and then called that nigga and said, who the fuck is you? That's some young nigga shit where you approach that nigga instead of approaching that chick.
And that's how we met, guys. That's how we met. So I'm glad you gave me the call that day. And she was lovely.
We've been friends ever since.
So to me, he took a very immature stance. If it wasn't truly for the publicity to kind of get his career upstarted again, but if an older nigga, that nigga would have been sitting in the cut, nigga, smoking a cigar, nigga, not saying shit, nigga, getting some checks, nigga, having an old lady handle his influence, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Happy in the fact that he had Jada.
I kept it so secret. Even when they got back together, she'd have probably been hitting me up still. I mean,
I think Jada's so grown, man. Because you remember they close to their 50s. I mean, I know Will's 51, and Jada might be 48, 49, but. No, I think Jada's at a point, man. Like here's the thing. She might have actually dug that nigga's vibe. Like, cause I'm not talking on August Alsina's dick or nothing like that. So I don't know about that, but she could have really just enjoyed that nigga's vibe, right? And because of that, she allowed that nigga to hit the pussy a few times. But there's no telling, man. I think Will and Jada have a very, very interesting relationship, and I think we know we know what they want us to see. You know what I mean? So.
I just got one. See, basically, she uses the word entanglement, and Will kind of addresses it like, man, call it what it is. But really, the definition is basically this couple who was having repeated unresolved conflict that resulted into a separation, and they don't feel fulfilled. And then she had to seek out companionship from this nigga, right? Because she was feeling either lonely or angry or unappreciated, whatever. Then she outsourced that shit, and that's what she did. She handled it like any nigga would have handled it.
I want to talk about that too. And I want to get to outsourcing within the relationship. But first, I want to ask this question to both of you. A friend of mine brought this suggestion to me about marriage and the way it's drawn up and written up, obviously, by the law. Have you ever considered going to a lawyer, a notary, and having your own contract drawn up about who gets what, if someone dies, assets, et cetera, kids, what have you, and having that contract drawn and having the ceremony and then signing that contract, creating a marriage under your law and not the state's?
Nah, I haven't.
Do you think that would ruin the sanctity of marriage, its sense, or do you think that would make it better? Do you think it wouldn't matter? Or what?
Yeah, I don't think it would matter for me. That just seemed like extra work. I probably would do all that. Because, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like people that want to see you do well and care about you are going to treat you that way and have respect for you. And people that don't won't. And not for me.
I look at it like no different than a prenup. Sometimes people view the prenup as basically saying the marriage is going to fail. I also see the concept and how that shit could work out, where you are outlining and both of you guys have input on how this relationship should go, success wise or failure, and how that looks. I mean, it's an interesting concept, but if you're going in like that, man, you already know something might be wrong.
See, I don't agree, because I don't think you're thinking prenup as more as this is your security that you're taking care of. This is your security and confirmation that no matter what, you're good. So now we're almost just stepping away from what man says, because let's be honest, if shit goes to shit, it's not worried about the money, the advantages and the trouble with the kids and how things are going to get handled. I think it gives you a lot more control, and it's a different approach on the same, accomplishing the same goal.
What is it? So I got two questions. What is the purpose of, is it for financial reasons? The only way I could see that being worth something is if it was for financial purposes. And to me, like to Gent's point, I don't know how that's much different than a prenup, because if you're talking about, I don't know how you can memorialize feelings or things like that, because at the end of the day, people going to treat you how the fuck they want to treat you, regardless of some paper that said you're going to treat me nice and fuck me on every third Thursday. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the purpose of it?
Yeah, and the contract wouldn't. I mean, I guess you could write those things in, but you'd be a damn fool, because that ain't no whole living up to that.
Those performance metrics, though.
Yeah, that's funny.
Hey, if them shits was with trigger bonuses, bitches be on it. So we figured it out right there. Another variable to marriage.
I'm actually thinking about that. That might be nice to put a bonus on that. But,
no, and I get what you're saying, but it really wouldn't be for financial. It would be more to not feel the confinement of, man, I married you, and by law, you get this, you get that.
Oh, you saying so you're not actually married?
You don't feel the pressure. So in a way, you're not really married. You have a contract between two people.
Okay.
Which is essentially what's what, but
like
all you had is a ceremony. And really what makes you married, nigga, how many people out here saying, that's my wife, nigga ain't seen them? You know what I mean? Like, common law marriage. If you live with someone longer than 2 years, 3 years, I believe it's common law marriage. There's no difference.
If you take that stance.
So you took away the whole pressure of the paper, and now it's like, I'm here because I want to be, because no matter what, I'm straight, because we've decided on this.
When you said it, nigga, there was an Amistad moment when I said, give us free. Nigga, I felt like it's a way that you you can have all of the aspects of marriage and that security to your point, but it also keeps everyone honest and staying on your game, because sometimes, and we talked about this 100 times, when people get married, there's a wave of change that takes place for some reason that happens when you give someone your last name. Everyone. I have no idea what it is, but it's like they fall into this concept of what marriage is and adjust accordingly to that, rather than just being who the fuck you were and how the fuck you got that nigga. So it kind of diminishes that point, and I'm cool with something that sounds like it's going to protect the success of my relationship. That sounds reasonable to me.
And this would be my last question on this, but I'm curious. So you love the person enough, and you want to be with the person in such a way that a committed relationship is the realization, and that you're willing to sign your own contract, right?
To say,
but you don't want to actually marry them. So why don't you just date these motherfuckers and don't do any contract?
Because what shows commitment? What does marriage show? You see what
I don't think marriage shows anything. So
we'll see what women see it as is
that's a different
security.
Question. I thought you asked me a question. You want to tell me what women see?
Isn't it really what we're talking about? Because obviously niggas with these hoes thing because we marrying them. So that's my point. They see that when you show commitment, that's all marriage is. That's why hoes fuck with niggas who's married. Why? Because he shows that he can be committed, even if she know that she ain't gonna get commitment from that nigga. So if you show a woman that you are willing to commit in this way, you can relieve that stress of like, hey, maybe he's going to leave because he's showing you that no matter what, I'm taking care of you. Because that's what marriage gives you. That's what that paper gives you. But at least here you control it more and still provide said security without the pressure.
How do you feel about that, Des?
I think
we don't need to stay. But
I do want to reply though. Yeah. But I think that's changing, right? Because two things. First of all, marriages can end in divorce for 49, 50, 51% of the time. For so many years before for chicks get hip to the game, right? So I think if you're talking years and years ago, sure. I think chicks nowadays are becoming a little bit more savvy, and so ladies, I'm gonna give you a little piece. I'm gonna give you a little nugget right here.
Don't give them too much.
I might give him in trouble, right? I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic. If you think because he married you, he won't fuck other women, you're wrong. Right? Marriage, your signature on a piece of paper, your pretty fucking wedding doesn't mean he won't fuck a bitch the next fucking day. There's motherfuckers that's married that fuck another bitch every day. And there's niggas that been dating you that you have no fucking piece of paper for, that love you to fucking death, that don't fuck with nobody else. So when I said before, I don't think marriage means anything. It's not that I don't understand what the idea of marriage is, but no, that's the truth from a man's perspective.
Exactly.
Marriage doesn't mean to men what it means to women.
Exactly.
So I think that's my point.
I agree. I think it's how he's holding you down and how he's making you feel. And if he's there consistently,
that's the most important.
I don't think you can really live that down. And a lot of hoes don't even realize they got a good nigga.
Facts.
Right? They don't even realize. And they complain about he doesn't do. Bitch, he's always been there. He been there so fucking long. Yeah. Nobody even know what
it's weird when he not.
You get what I'm saying? So, but yet you over here complaining like you don't got it good. Wait till that nigga leave, bitch. What did that nigga say? If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, bitch. Because dog, shit get lonely, ho. And I bet you he gonna bounce back. I hope you got this. You can do the same. God damn it.
There we go.
I want to get to outsourcing within your relationship. Yeah, don't get me off on that. And what I call it, and I shout out to the homie who gave me this. She called it surviving. When you outsource within the relationship, you're just trying to survive out here, man. Because you want your marriage to stay, but guess what? You got to do what you got to do because certain things are missing. So I want to go up into the different ways that you can outsource. And one of the things that I think maybe is the main thing are physical activities, the vibes. So say, your spouse isn't really an active person. I know y'all gonna say I'm going to wait, so I'm not gonna go hard. I'm just saying maybe you have a friend and maybe that friend is female and she works out. Are you jealous because that's what she's doing? You know what I mean? Because that's who he's spending that time with. Maybe the same with concerts and vice versa. So how do you feel about outsourcing vibes within the relationship?
Yeah, that's hard, right? I mean, if you sit here and think about it, that's the whole premise behind this is truly you are not getting something from your partner and for that, it's going to have some consequences, right? And if you're trying to outsource something romantic, it typically is subtle, man. Like, so you may not feel as close to your partner, or you may enjoy spending more time with a friend than your partner, or you have difficulty talking to your partner.
But don't go everywhere. Stay right there.
Yeah.
How is it on the vibe? Because I think those physical activities, strip clubs, not many women go. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of men have female strip friends. I think a lot of women have male friends. And I think that platonic relationship helps perspective, and it shouldn't ruin anything. But I think in many ways it can handicap the relationship. And I wanted to talk about that later.
But even if we broke it down, let's use strip clubs as an example. Your girl doesn't like going to the strip club, right? So you end up going with a friend. She has a certain vibe or a feeling about the sanctity or the construct or the framework of what a strip club is. She hates it. She fucking hates it. She's not the chick that's going to slap you on your ass to the strip club and put a handful of dollar bills in your hand. But at the end of the day, you know that's your vibe and you want to have fun, and she ain't meeting you where you want to go. Guess where you go? You go to your friend. It may be your boy, but if you looking for a female vibe, you gonna holler at your friend. But guess what? Now you're starting to do a bunch of activities that.
Well, at least this one. Is this one a bad thing? That's what I want to ask you. Is it? Well, I'm not talking. Your everything can't be it.
Yeah.
If it's your everything, nigga, you obviously abort mission 911. Houston, we have a problem. But I'm saying, if it's certain things, like for instance, strip clubs, and I'm using that as an example, but it could be anything: exercise, smoking and drinking. A lot of people don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your homeboy smoke. Imagine being a female and you smoke and your nigga don't. Believe that's a normal thing. And her homeboy smoke. Nigga, she been knew before you, yada yada. And you know he or she over there late night, she hiding some bitch, she fall asleep. Are you nervous, nigga? You know what I'm saying? But the reality is you don't do this, so she's vibing there.
I think for me, so here's the thing: when you get into a relationship with a person, and I've actually done some relationships. I had like two homegirls. Actually, I had two homegirls that were my homegirls. Been my homegirls since I was fucking 19 and 22, 23 respectively, right? So when I got into a relationship with the person, I said, look, these are two women that I'm friends with. I'm going to call them when I need when I want to, some feedback. If I'm in the area, I may go have lunch or dinner with them, but these are my friends. So if that's a problem, let me know now, because these people have been my friends through thick and thin, and folks I can depend on. We may or may not last, right? We don't know yet. So they are known commodities and you are not. And that was a real conversation I had. And so she said, okay, then that's no problem. And it's never been a problem. Cause I'm not a believer that if you're in a committed relationship, I don't necessarily have to go married, but you're in a committed relationship, I don't think your girl should have like 6 or 7, homeboys, niggas she hang out with all the time. Yeah. Nah, that's not appropriate. And you shouldn't have 5, 6 bitches you hang out with all the time. You got 1 or 2 homegirls that been your homegirls through thick and thin. I think she got to understand that, and vice versa. And it's hard. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of bitches out here know they man got a homegirl and she don't really like that shit, but she let it go because she know that bitch been around and she got to trust her man at some point. But niggas is not cool with that shit. If your wife, your girl or your fiance or anybody say, look, I'm about to go to dinner with Greg. You know, we've been friends for a long time, right? If Greg a short, fat, bald nigga, you comfortable as fuck, right? But if Greg look better than you, niggas feeling some kind of way. That's the fact.
You
that's
know
not
what
a girl
I'm
thing.
Say to that? I'm going to say to that because I've always had a pretty attractive female friends, and I'm going to say to that, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Your nigga's gonna be nervous. And the reason I think a man would be nervous, because I'd like to believe that I'd be okay with it. So many women that are friends with men fuck their friends and they never disclose it. And the one thing I've known about women, and I learned, these motherfuckers, they'll keep shit to their grave. Mm-hmm. And they real good at that lie shit. So I think they fucking these niggas and they cool, and maybe they're not fucking them anymore. Mm-hmm. My issue is having known that they fucked. And they know if you tell them that you fucked them once, it's a wrap. So a lot of times that's where I think I'm coming from it on that. Because I think they fucked them once. And I get it. It wasn't shit. You moved on. Yeah. We've been there. But nah, tell me the truth. You know what I mean?
I got one story, and I don't know how appropriate it is, but I think it's, if not to the entirety of the podcast, to what you just talked about, Jezzy. And it was, so I was in college and I was talking to this girl who I mean, like, it was pretty serious. And, I was over her house. She used to cook. Hey. It was amazing. It was amazing. Not the one you think about.
Okay, my bad.
No, Jamaican girl.
Okay.
And so everything was great, right? Everything is going good. And one of my homeboys came to me and he said, hey, bro, let me holler at you right quick, right?
I remember this.
So I said, oh, what's up, bro? Yo, this is This was one of my friends then when I was 20 years old, right? 21 years old. And my friend years later, right? We homeboys now. I might call him tomorrow, right? And he pulled me up. He said, hey, I know you dealing hard with this chick. I just want to let you know. He was a year older than me. She was a year older than me. He was like, yeah, when you was in 12th grade, I fucked her. Like here at college.
Immediately, what did you do though?
Yeah. So listen, here's what I would say. Immediately what I did was try to digest the situation because essentially what he just told me was the person that I really spent a majority of my last 2 months with that I really, really cared for, he knew what her box looked like. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't cool with that. Was like. And I left her. Yeah. I dumped her. And
we're mentally weak.
I dumped her within 2 days, right? And she was like, and she said, why is it me? I said, well, actually it is. And here's why. Because my friend using his name told me that you fucked. She's like, I didn't know you. You weren't even here. And it didn't matter.
What that story just did, was perpetuate the lie that will be told forever. Nah, bitch, you'll never fucking tell the truth. What? Because of that story there, because she knows that's what.
But they're doing that anyway. I'm not the first nigga to say that.
You're not. But I'm saying that's why I say it's just going to perpetuate it, and it helps because it's just confirmation of what they already feel and know. They know they can't say it, and that's why I'll never trust it.
See, I don't really have any problems with if my woman had any men or male friends, whatever you want to call it. I think some of that is just your security in what you have. Now, if I'm shaky on a bitch, I'm feeling like y'all feeling immediately, right? Mm-hmm. However, if I feel like I have something super strong, like you possess it, you got this chick in your pocket, like, and no one knows anything 100% for sure, absolutely, but at the bottom, at the pit of your stomach that this is your woman. Like, I got to feel comfortable and trust her. Now, if she fucks that trust up, then we got a different story. But I don't think I'm out the gate. I'm shutting it all the way down.
I want to say something to that. Two things. So what I would say in your particular situation is that is an enlightened viewpoint because I don't think that's the typical guttural male reaction, right? If you go on the WoW and you see the big silverback, right, or the male lion with a pride or a group of bitches and children around, and another nigga creeping to the neighborhood, he killing that nigga, right? Because he's not giving him a chance. He's not listening. He don't want to hear you just looking for fruit. Yeah. You're dead, right? And so the male lion is killing any little nigga that try to come up and strut his stuff. So I think a lot of men go that way, and I think it's some guttural stuff. But I think your perspective on that, Jen, is pretty enlightening. I think it's pretty enlightening.
All right, so what I want to talk about now is the emotional support that you can also receive from your friendships outside of your relationship. And I really believe this one
gets sticky, bro.
It can get
ain't nothing wrong with a little sticky.
I like it sticky. Just let it drip off your chin, but
drip softly on your chin.
When it drips to your chin and to the titties, and the titties just wet. Hallelujah.
Yeah, unless you don't have titties. And if you don't have titties, yours, it's fine. When they get on your stomach, but your stomach got to be flat. No, you can't have low titties and your stomach big.
Man,
is that too much? I
agree with that. I understand where you're coming from, but you putting some listeners potentially in a tough spot. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, no, you can fix that though. If you got
fix it. You heard it. You heard it from Des. King Des said it. He said, "Fix it. You can do it." Today was the first day. Get out there. Okay?
To the rest of your life, girl.
You know what I'm saying? So I think this is really a risky move. I think it's a necessity and it can work to maintain a relationship. The relationship can be healthy forever, maybe. But I also think that maybe with the wrong people, it could go wrong. Because what happens, you're trying to create a makeshift man, a makeshift woman, because you have the relationship and you're getting your intimacy, your sex, et cetera here. But when your emotional support, for whatever reason, there's certain things missing. And you go to them for your friend. And especially if this is of the opposite sex as a man, this can get sticky. And I think that's why we're really helping ladies right now.
Yeah, we are.
Ways. I don't think I hope y'all hear this because we're trying to get you to see what you need to be doing if you really want that. You know what I mean? And you can have that best friend, but if he feels more comfortable talking to her about shit freely and openly as himself than he does you because he may think you might think this, then you're fucking up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I'll be completely transparent on this front because I've been in situations like that where you feel like you're talking to your significant other and you're telling them everything that's going wrong and it seems like it's falling on deaf ears. It's almost like saying, hey, you're communicating and saying, hey, don't put a fork in the fucking outlet. And she just ignores you and fucking electrifies herself. That's how I feel, right? So I'm sitting here having that whole
dark.
I know, I'm just
You've been
saying.
going real dark lately.
I'm having
to talk about that.
Lights out.
I know I'm going through a little something. But either way, so I experienced that and I couldn't get what I needed from my partner. So I'm taking it out to work and I'm talking to someone that I'm cool with, right? And, you talking, you're expressing how your feelings are. For some reason, it's easier. It flows like velvet, nigga, and silk and shit, nigga. The conversation is flowing, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be concerned about who you're talking to and their intentions, because what they can do is take all that information that they're receiving,
the purity
of
which
it,
you gave it,
you weren't
perverted.
Yeah,
you weren't going in with any other intention other than to find an outlet to express yourself, right? And they can utilize that and turn that around on it to kind of fulfill something that they are missing as well.
Selfish manipulation.
Yeah, so you've got to be real conscious and cognizant of that, because you start doing that and creating that pattern, man. To your point, like you made earlier, you created a pseudo relationship that could manifest into some other shit that you didn't even intend to happen.
Yeah.
And then you done outsourced it. You could potentially outsource it permanently by accident.
Outsourcing can go wrong. Go ahead.
I got a question. It's interesting because I think a relationship doesn't preclude you from having friends, right? Mm-hmm. Generally speaking. And generally speaking, right, it shouldn't matter if the person that is supportive of you, who gives you guidance and counsel, is a male or female, right? I think the issue comes when there's an intent for anything contrary to that, right? And I guess the question is shouldn't it be allowable to outsource parts? And you say outsource, so let me say this too. When you say outsource parts of a relationship, I assume that outsourcing means that thing that you are utilizing this friend for is not getting any attention in your primary relationship.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
and so to define that, I think that is a problem, right? Because I think that your primary relationship, your significant other, whatever that title may be, should be the person that you can discuss every aspect of your relationship, right? You should be able to talk about your professional aspirations, your physical and mental aspirations, financial aspirations, sexual, all those things. Yeah. Exactly right. And so you should be able to discuss those things. And if you can't, and you feel like very, very kind of core, those 4 or 5 core parts of relationship, you can't have those conversations with your significant other, they probably shouldn't be your significant other, because there's one thing to go to your friend and get feedback and bounce back based on things you're dealing with in your relationship. But if your primary conversations around that thing are happening outside of the relationship, then your relationship is hollow, it's full of holes, and those things typically aren't stable.
Yeah. And where I wanted you to see a different perspective is because sometimes you said any, as if they're not getting any of these things, whatever the things that you listed. And what I want to state is sometimes it's not about that they're not giving any, but they're not giving enough. So how you're outsourcing to compensate more so than you're outsourcing to entirely survive. So there's different levels to it, I'd imagine. So it's certain levels of support that you not feel you're getting from your partner or your spouse. And maybe you said it. Maybe you shouldn't have to fucking say it, to be honest. But you're not getting, but when you speak with your friend and your homie, you know what I'm saying, you're getting that support, you're getting that reassurance, he or she. Now, I know we keep saying she because I feel like the lines get blurrier with opposite sex. Sure. But obviously, you have your homeboys that's going to come through, nigga, when, if you want to smoke something or play some ball, and obviously your girl probably ain't got no game, but maybe she do. And shout out to all the female ball, man. And chicks who play ball, nigga, I love them. Yeah. I love them. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? So I obviously those same sex friends matter, but I think it's important to discuss the opposite sex because that's really what we're nervous about. That's where these entanglements come into play because we nervous because they got, penises and vaginas and they go together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, I just don't think it has to be all or any or none. It can be just, I'm just not getting enough support here. The Black Lives Matter came out and I told you, I forgot who I told, but I told someone, I was like, I was hearing a lot of support here and there for black men. Oh man, thank you for being a black man and a good black father, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of niggas wasn't hearing that at home. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And
that might have been the first time they were hearing it.
Exactly. So for you to not hear that at home, it means that what you receive outside can matter just as much to keep you stable, keep you going strong for home. You know what I mean? Yeah. So is outsourcing always bad?
Let me ask you a question. So two things. I assume that when you talk about maybe it's happening in the primary relationship, but not enough, that you have identified the expectations with regards to that part of your life, right?
Yeah.
And my second thing is, it shouldn't be, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but I'm just making it clear from my perspective. It shouldn't be that you outsource this thing, because niggas will be like, oh, well, like if I gotta tell this bitch all the time, I always gotta explain her. When I talk to my homegirl, she just know how I feel. Listen, that's a fucking cop out. If you got to work a little hard in your primary relationship to get your significant other to be able to be the person you can talk to about that thing, then do the fucking work.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
You can't, if that person is unable or unwilling to give you what you need, that's a different story. But if they don't because you fucking lazy and it's easy to go to your homegirl and she might give you a hand job, that's some fuck shit. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
That does ease tensions, though.
Specifically.
No, seriously. I think more couples should really, if a woman would, hey, baby, your man comes to you and he says, listen, I just want to talk. I got some shit on my mind. All right, baby, sit back and just pull your pants down. And if she could just give you a hand job and while you express yourself.
No, you laughing?
When I fucking
that sounds amazing.
You don't understand to me.
I don't.
Listen, if you throw a spliff in there, nigga, I'm gonna start telling you about some shit that I ain't even know existed with this side. I'm over there like, and when I was 4, mama never told, like, seriously. So,
nigga, they never gave me nothing.
I think what women don't do well with, and I think with the best women, the one who man ain't never going nowhere and he love the fuck out of her, women don't always do well with securing, make the man feel secure and feeling safe and that he can be vulnerable. See, a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A man got to be tough and we got to be this and we got to hold it. Like, you have to go out of your way sometimes, I believe, to let a man know and soften him. And if you can't do that, you know, as a woman,
on that
walkless to blow up.
But definitely on that front, man, if your man comes to you and tries to be vulnerable and you shut down because you feel defensive or you took a snippet of what he said and for some reason it didn't resonate with you the right way, dog, that is the worst fucking thing that you can do. Because you do that a number of times, to Jeezy's point, man, that nigga ain't never gonna come back. There's only so much time before the straw breaks the camel's back and he's come to you on some vulnerable shit and you are ignoring it completely. That shit ain't gonna fly. So on the front of talking to your, and I put it to you, Des, after this, but on the front of not only focusing on the opposite sex, even with your homeboys, man, and I got a bunch of frat brothers and I holler at them about certain things. And that is and that's a good deal right there. But let me just tell you, if you think every lady likes her business in out in the streets, and even to your boys, it's considered out in the street. I know many ladies that take huge offense to that and still will have a problem with that. It don't even have to be female, male. It can happen with your boys.
That's true. And you know you can't tell them that you told such and such.
Hell no.
Yeah. And women don't understand men relationships, so we're different with our shit. You know what I mean? And there's not much that we can't share, and we cool, and we'll share those details. You know what I mean? So whereas a woman may tend to keep that shit to herself, you know what I mean, and perpetrate and let on what they want them to know. A nigga tell you, oh yeah, man, she ain't sucked me off. Go to the barbershop.
That's all it is.
You'll hear about these niggas' relationships, and they'll walk in 2 seconds like, man, dog, I don't even want to fuck with my bitch no more, dog. They walk in, they can't wait to say
I remember being there with my dad as a jit, and niggas coming in, dog, and it's a fucking psychology session for niggas in there, man. I'm serious, man. The niggas selling meat and brushes.
And CDs. Now they got a lot of hair care and beard care products.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, but, what I think, I want to look at it from a single standpoint for like that single woman, you know what I mean? Or that single man. So if you're single and it's tough out here to find a good man is what these hoes keep telling me. And maybe not for a man to find a good woman because we have an upper advantage. And I always say this in a certain way, but at the same time, that good vibe, that great vibe, that life-changing vibe isn't guaranteed. You know what I mean? And it isn't easily found. You know what I'm saying? Just the percentages that are in our pocket. So that being said, if you're struggling to find someone and you're single, but yet you have that good friend of the opposite sex, does it handicap you from being able to find a relationship because you'll find yourself saying, hey, I can just be physical with this guy because my emotional is right here with my homie. I can call him anytime. We good. We can vibe whenever. You know what I mean? He's never going to let me down. He's going to come through. And with him, I can just let it be fun dinners and dicks up my asses, because at the end of the day, I know I can outsource certain aspects. And that comes back to the makeshift man, right? But from a single person's perspective and not the relationship.
I think it depends on your maturity level. So let me say that. I think when you're young, right? And I'm not trying to put everybody into a bucket, right? But I think in large part, when you're in your teens and your 20s, maybe your early 30s, you know what? I can hodgepodge a man together. I got two of the things I need from this guy, another two from this guy or girl, one from this person, and my physical from this person. I think you can do that. Maturity brings a whole new perspective to the relationship game, because what you realize is you don't just want somebody you can talk to when work was tough, or somebody you can work out with, or somebody you can fuck. You want somebody you could take a 7-day cruise with. Right? Yeah. You could fly somewhere with, y'all got nothing but a house and y'all going to eat every day, and your vibe is unmatched. And I think we've talked about that, fellas. And for our listeners, you guys probably heard us mention this a lot, but as you get older, the thing that increases, you don't want a bitch with bigger titties. You don't want her, she don't got to have a larger ass. What you want is, what you want, for, at least for me, I think what people want is, no, I'm not even saying any of that stuff. Yeah. I think what's important is vibe. Listen, unless you're a lame, I'm gonna keep it real. If you're a lame nigga and you in your 40s and shit, your late 30s, and you still hunting for ass, okay,
waste of time.
Yeah, do what you do, right? I was doing that when I was in college. I was doing that in my 20s. So after 20,
but maybe they didn't though. So
and that's what I'm saying. If you weren't getting out in your teens and 20s, like I said, you're probably lame, right? So
or he got married early and got out of his marriage. Damn, a lame. Niggas getting married early is not lame, okay? Guess. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying that. You're not going to put generalizations on me, nigga. All I said is, for whatever reason, if you wait until you 40-something to start hunting ass down like a 20-year-old nigga, I feel bad for you. Because by this time, dog, you looking for the vibe.
Quality.
Can you be in a room and talk to with nobody but y'all in the house, and for 2, 3, 4 hours, y'all vibing? You shit all fucking day, y'all vibing. No fucking drama, joking. Nothing. If you got that, but you got a bad bitch with big titties and a fat ass that you can't be around us more than an hour about her getting on your fucking nerves, why would you choose that?
Yeah.
Because when them titties sag and that ass go flat, you ain't got the vibe, nigga.
I totally agree with that. And I would never. Yeah.
I saw the fire in your eyes.
Yeah, I would never settle. You can't settle. You want an all-encompassing vibe. And man, we're going to talk about next week about what a man needs to choose a woman. So I don't want to get into that. Mm-hmm. But if an all-encompassing vibe means peace, and if you don't know how to work that on a man, I mean, we're gonna have fun with that. That's gonna be fire, right? That's gonna be game for him right there. But do you think then that you have to change your friendship with that best friend in order to get that relationship the way you want it? Can things stay the same, or does something have to fall back?
I think it depends on your girl, man. So I think, and I'm only speaking from a man's perspective, your woman sets the tone a little bit. Now, there's certain things that you can say, okay, this woman's important to me. She's been a friend for years. I want you to meet this woman so that we don't have no issues go forward. You know exactly who I'm talking to when I'm talking to him, right? However, if she has feelings about that you talking late night, it's 11 o'clock at night, and you talking to your best friend, and you doing that consistently, and she's like, it's making me feel a certain way. I think you have to respect what's going on and readjust those interactions and those expectations. That's my personal belief if you want to try to keep the peace. Now, granted, you figured that you had this discussion in advance and it shouldn't even be an issue, but you also know that things change as the relationship progresses. And if we sit here and act stupid as if, it doesn't, we fooling ourselves, man. You cool one day, nigga, doesn't mean you're going to be cool on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, man, I think it's different, right? But it's for fellas out there that got a good relationship with their mom, right? Like, I just remember for myself when I was in college, my early 20s, you know what I'm saying? I'm single, I'm doing my thing. Yeah. My mom's opinion, my mom's feedback, my dad too, right? Mm-hmm. But my mom's feedback, my mom's opinion, her perspective was very, very powerful, right? When you get into a relationship as a man, right? And that's the only perspective I can speak from, with a woman who is someone you could see yourself spending the rest of your life with, right? Or at least your future, right? As far as you can see, you got to phase out. You can listen to your mom, right? But you got to say, okay, in this relationship, my significant other has to have the primary voice, right? Outside of mine. and not my mom. And so you have to do that. It's the same thing with your friends. You can have your friends. I don't think you have to get rid of friends. If people people been fucking holding you down, you let them keep holding you down and you hold them down. But I think you have to, and if they are really your friends, establish parameters and they'll understand, look, this is my woman. If she really your homegirl and she know you solid motherfucker, you tell her, hey, look, I really got to put my all into this relationship because I really fuck with her and I want this to work. She'll support it. And if she don't, or she say, oh, so you're not going to talk to me now? Oh, she more important to me? She got ulterior fucking motives.
Got that dog.
Hey, that was I see that. What a great analogy between your mom and your, what a great fucking analogy.
My nizzle. I'm going to slice that out for you, man, because that's something that a woman can take with her, place into the inner contours of her heart.
In my opinion, if you have a close friend, outsourcing is easy to default to when you're when you're single, and to me that will always handicap the relationship, because at the end of the day you just have that support system already and set to where that anything short of that, you like, girl, you still fucking with that nigga and he ain't did this, man, that's all right, because you're so content with what he's giving, knowing that you're getting other shit from other ways. And I think that's a lot of women are single.
We've had guests on here say that. You're right.
Perpetually single because, and they're just seeing this nigga and he doesn't have to commit and he doesn't have to go any further, because a lot of women, the real women, they date with intention.
Man.
They make it known what it's going to be. If you fall short of that, you fall off. And I respect those women. It's tough. You know what I'm saying? But I respect it. And why I respect it is because I believe that's how all men should operate. This is what it is. If you're not with my program, ho, go ahead to the next program, ho. Good luck.
Do you look at it as a crutch when you have that type of strong ass support system?
I think it is. I don't want to say it. I think it's a crutch because, yeah, you can fall short of everything because you know where else you can get it, and you'll take that dick here, and you'll take a random weekend away here. You'll take not meeting his mom there because you'll have anything else. So
I got a question for you though, G. So in that same vein, so I'm playing devil's advocate here. So you say you think it is a crutch, right? Because you know you don't have to give your all, but I think that has to do with the individual and the mindset, because I think the same can be saying for, right? So we got a public welfare system in the United States, right? Like if you lose your job, if you need help with your housing, you can get that shit for really, really cheap, probably cheaper than what you're paying now, right? But I don't think knowing that there is a net for certain people makes you not shoot for the stars, right? And so I think in that relationship, to me, if you're going into this relationship with the desire to make it something worth having, then the fact that you got a crush to rely on should be moot, right? Because your only intention is putting forth your 100% effort on this. And if you fall to that crutch so easily, you never really want a success in that primary relationship anyway, in my opinion.
My nizzle with the analogies, bro. No. I just need to take a moment with this analogy to the public welfare. Dog, shout out to all that. But
no, I agree for real, because how that even holds more accurate even speaks to those on welfare, because at the end of the day, you are settling to be okay with what your current situation is.
For people who use it for what it's supposed to be, we're not talking about y'all.
But there are people who aren't, and they are misusing it, and you're just happy and content with it. And to say you want more, which I'm sure most of these niggas are saying. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Nobody's saying less.
Yeah, so,
say less, nigga. Say less.
Indeed. So for you to be saying these things and doing opposite. So I think these single people that I'm talking about, they want the relationship, or so they believe, but they're not trying to perpetuate it. And in a way, it's different from your analogy too, because emotions are involved. So when it comes to matters of the heart, man, I don't know about you, but if you go a long time, and women are great with last without sex, but I've had my moments where, you know what I'm saying, I was cleansing from a hoe. It never got tough where I couldn't get pussy.
That's not what I said, nigga. I didn't say tough.
No, I just said tough, maybe emotionally. If I wanted pussy,
you got offended,
you know what I'm saying?
He did.
No, because I got check my credentials, nigga. But my point of the matter is, you know what I'm saying, when it gets tough like that, you just want to know, man, I lost my moment.
No, but I will kind of just jump in there and definitely say, hey, you're right. Both of y'all are right from both sides of the fence. I think there's a part where you can abuse your support system, which is those people that just want to live off of that welfare, right? And that turns into something else, and you're just settling. You're never going to have a full life with your partner, a true full life for yourself, if you're abusing your support system. But there is an opportunity for you to utilize it as solely as a supplement that will enhance your relationship if you use it delicately and appropriately, right? So I think it's a double-edged sword to y'all point. You just got to figure out, man, how you finna slice that bitch.
And I remember my point. I was talking about being touched. And this doesn't even necessarily have to be physically, but emotionally. If you haven't had someone talk to you and make you feel warm and tingly inside, if you haven't had someone touch you, imagine when it happens. You get what I'm saying? So when you get it, you're going to be so happy with it. Are you going to give it, let it go and go away, even though it's not everything? Although you're enjoying so much of that little taste that you're getting,
it's like crack.
It's hard to say. You know what I mean? So if I'm saying I'm getting nothing and everything is tough right now, right? Quote unquote, if I'm struggling to get pussy, if a little pussy come my way, am I going to say, nah, man, no, I'm going to keep it until, like, this is what these single people are doing. Single women, I would think more in particular than single men, but single women, I imagine, because you got to take what you can get. And that's a sad situation that we in, but, I digress. So, yeah. But, outsourcing a relationship. I just think that it can work, but it doesn't work for everyone. It can't go wrong.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think have the people that fuck with you close, right? And the people that care about you. But if you're going to take the time to siphon someone from the fucking open market, right? And insinuate that you want something more serious with them. And I heard Jezzy say this, you know what? I know it's a quote from Bob Marley, but I don't know if he said it on the podcast or he said it another time, but right. And I'm paraphrasing, right? But essentially, don't arouse the intention and feelings of a woman you have no intention on doing anything with or have something with, right?
Bob said
and it's so real, right? But let me tell you something, fellas, and how soon we forget. And I used this word earlier with Gent. We are getting to a place in our lives where we are still young men, but we are enlightened, right? Yeah. We've had experiences and relationships and we've done things and now we see the wisdom. But these same niggas talking to y'all right now was not this catch us at 23. You already got fucked, all right?
Yeah. Real quick.
So we
I forgot about your ass already, yo.
But we didn't change. So we say that to say, listen to what we saying. We giving y'all some knowledge. We really, ladies, listen to what we telling you. And if you got any questions, man, you hit us up.
And you know what? Before we go, I just want to say one thing. Listen, you at home all day and you look like shit. I don't give a fuck if it's Friday. I don't give a fuck if we staying home Tuesday. If we're working from home, and a lot of us are still, you know what I mean? Look like something. Get up in the morning, brush your teeth, put on some clothes, and I'm not saying nothing fancy. Somehow, a nice little day dress. I'm sick of these women just sit. Dog, I'm hearing it everywhere, dog.
Yeah.
They at house, they at home looking like shit.
Yeah.
Didn't brush your teeth until 3:30 in the afternoon. You still in pajamas and shit. No bra.
Then had 2 cups of orange juice though.
Dog, seriously, dog. I don't get it.
I like a lady that she walking around the house in a nice little jumper and she ain't in an oversized t-shirt all day with 3 bullet holes and she ain't never been shot before. But she got 3 bullet holes in the shirt, nigga, and some grandma drawers. But I like a woman that's like she takes some time to even look good at home, man. You know what I'm saying? Put her hair up, like the Jeezy's point, man. Brush her teeth, wash her face, and she put on something nice. Like
grandma drawers shouldn't even be on.
I know.
Don't wear no bra, ladies. Let them things move around.
I like no bra at home if you're putting on something. I'll give you that.
Even in a t-shirt, I like them things to move around.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, you may have kids, and you may have big titties, so adjust accordingly. Cause if you got some big old D's, but if you got them, baby bees, you probably can get away with that.
Probably so. Probably so.
Bee stings.
Strong C's too.
Shout out to all the titties. A through B, D, E, D, F, G.
Man, respect to them G's. Those are real G's right there.
You want the G?
No, I don't want it that big. I'll take it if it got there, but I'm not looking for it. Like I'm fine with a strong big C to a baby D.
I think every man needs a full B. Full B is a mouthful. That's all you need. I mean, if your mouth bigger than that, nigga, fuck you doing? You know what I'm saying? So
I feel like a fat man who's out of shape could have a small B. I'm not taking no chances.
You could. I actually been asking a lot of women that randomly, would you fuck a man who has man boobs if he was good in every way? Attractive, not fat, he's just chubby.
The mass classy or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? And he just has little man boobs. Even would you suck on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all said no.
I bet it's probably because if his areolas is bigger than hers, she can't have that.
No, you can't do that.
She can't have that.
Don't associate areolas with it, man. That's hard on my fetish right there, dog. My fetish.
Oh man, we called Jezzy dinner plate man because he wanted them areolas look like dinner plates.
He calls them dinner plates. I just like them.
The teacup sauces.
Nice ratio. Titty to areola. You know what I mean? So,
listen, I'm gonna break this shit up. So
these areolas.
Hey, Brunch with the Boys, man. Check us out on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram at Brunch with Boys. Hit us up on email brunch.withboys@gmail.com. Drop any types of comments. Drop any types of suggestions. If you want to be a guest, hit us up on email or any of the socials. Find us on YouTube, and because there's a huge presence on YouTube, all podcast platforms. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and so forth. And real quick, big shout out, dog, because we hit 30,000 listens. Bro.
Yeah,
30,000. We ain't even been at it 2 years, bro.
Yeah.
30,000 listens.
That's now I want to tag on to what Jen said. The biggest thing for us guys is that we bring you content that does something for you, right? We don't want to be just talking just to talk, right? We try to drop knowledge, and sometimes we give it to you most of the time, all the time, we give it to you in a very opinionated way. But that's the only way we know how to give it to you, right?
Way.
You don't tell the cook how to cook the food. You just eat that motherfucker. So even we giving y'all the biggest thing for us, like, share, subscribe. Yeah. If you think we dope, if you didn't listen to us for 2, 3, 4 episodes, 5 episodes, tell a friend about us.
Appreciate it.
Not 7 people. You ain't got to tell 10. You ain't got to tell 2. Tell a friend about us.
You know what? Tell for all the niggas and the hoes. Tell the people you fucking. Just that. And ladies,
it might be too much knowledge in there.
No, ladies, we hope it's only 1 or 2 niggas, but fellas, we know you got at least 2 or 3. At least, you know what I'm saying? Strong team. So get on it.
We appreciate y'all. This Brunch with the Boys.
Yeah.
We out.
Yeah. Coffee and brunch. We could have our conversations over coffee and brunch. Ha.